Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's a Rally Towel Tuesday right here on the Morning Rant. Welcome back, everyone. Dave Garner with you right here. That's right. The Rally Towels are flying this morning as we welcome you in to another program brought to you by our friends at Geiger Legal Group in Canton and Dalton. Again, Geiger Legal, your number one personal injury attorney in North Georgia. Again, 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG. Dave Garner with you right here inside our Carriage Kia Studios on a Tuesday morning in North Georgia. What's up, North Georgia? Appreciate you guys being with us here, kicking it with Billy Dowd for the next hour as we take you right up until Chuck Oliver at 11 o'clock this morning, talking some college football, a lot of different things happening, of course, over the weekend. Yesterday, had a pretty explosive show. Big John Davis joining us right here on the program. We talked a little bit more about NFL, NIL, player, the portal, you name it, a little bit of everything. Tomorrow, when John comes back, we're going to dive a little more specifically into spring football practice. We're going to talk some Georgia Tech stuff and kind of narrow down some different things that we've kind of talked about behind the scenes. Today, I'm sporting a Berry College. This was actually the undershirt that I was wearing under my pullover because it's a little chilly outside. You know, it's like the weather can't really make up its mind what it wants to do right now, you know.
You always get that one last little frost in March.
Yeah,
before the flowers are coming.
Yeah.
One last one.
One last one. Hopefully it's one last one. I mean, I know we've had some frost in April before. We hadn't even quite gotten there yet. So who knows, but hopefully it's the last one. Hey, you look good too, man. You're sporting a hat, man. You're sporting a different look right there, man. I love it. Look at that.
Man, you got me this Sports Pig morning show rant hat. Hold up to the camera here for you.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks sweet. Love it.
For all of our listening audience that happens to be watching on YouTube. Again, all of our episodes loaded up on YouTube, by the way, daily, right here on the Morning Rant. A lot of different ways to listen to the show, but you can also watch the show on YouTube. And one of the things I mentioned yesterday that I haven't really talked a lot about is that we do have this show on Podbean. We've got it on Spotify, couple of the different podcast and streaming platforms as well, and honestly, I haven't even been thinking a lot about those, you know. So a lot of different ways for folks out there to listen, to tune in, to kind of pay attention to what we're doing. And I can say this: I pulled up some analytics yesterday, and there are some obvious spikes in the listenership and the downloads at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. It is already showing as the most downloaded program on the Sports Pig, and one of the most listened to already in the first few weeks. So,
let's go.
Hey, thank you guys, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in to listen to us, paying attention right here to the Morning Rant. It is the fastest 1 hour of sports talk radio in the land, and we got a lot to talk about. I know John, as I mentioned, was in here yesterday, but Billy D, you haven't had a chance yet to opine about March Madness. I know you have been paying a lot of attention to what's going on here, man. How's your bracket looking going to the Sweet 16?
Not too bad. All of my Final Four are still in.
Okay, that's always a good thing.
So, all my Final Four are still in. I will tell you that I completely botched the entire South portion of the bracket. Except for one, my Final Four, who is Houston.
Yeah, me too.
They're still alive.
They're still in it.
So other than that,
hey,
I got everything else wrong in that part of the bracket. But the rest of the bracket, I'm pretty straight.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah, I think right now I'm standing at 13 out of 16. I missed 3. One of the ones I missed was a first round upset that did not happen. Basically, I had picked Troy. Because you know they're going to come from somewhere, and I had picked Troy to beat Nebraska, and then ended up going on in Sweet 16. So I was already one down before the weekend got started. Really, as far as the Sweet 16, Virginia ended up losing to Tennessee, which was another one that I had picked that didn't happen there. But 13 out of 16, I'll take it. Speaking of Troy, though, Georgia Tech men's basketball has hired Scott Cross, who was the head coach, longtime head coach at Troy. He was also at a couple other schools as well. But Georgia Tech going ahead making that decision once Troy was eliminated in the first round of the tourney there. Georgia Tech did pull the trigger. They went ahead and hired Scott Cross, who has had a lot of success at some of those mid-major levels in the past. So again, wanted to throw that out right here as that came down yesterday, of course, the press conference and all that stuff. So Scott Cross, the new head men's basketball coach at Georgia Tech, again, spending time at Troy, taking Troy to the big dance this year. And as they were eliminated, they went ahead and brought him in over at Tech. So a changing of the guard, if you will. We'll talk a little more about that tomorrow with Big John Davis as well. But, yeah, March Madness cranking up. Any surprises for you? I mean, I know we talked about our bracket, still pretty much intact. You got to, when you get through the first full week, the first full weekend, and you still got your Final Four, and you've got most of your Elite Eight still intact, that's a pretty good feeling.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you what I'm surprised about.
Yeah.
Once again, I was all hyped up for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh yeah.
I was all hyped up.
Weren't we all, man?
And they had the prime spot, CBS. Okay, prime spot. So this is being great.
Kevin Harlan, whole deal.
And listen, I'm sorry. I think this is a fireable offense. I mean, they didn't even look like they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. I made myself watch part of the second half as well, okay?
Right.
And they come out on that, 13-15-0 run in the third quarter as well. And when I see a guy just with his arm out to defend a ball, no effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was,
right.
But it wasn't basketball. It's not Georgia basketball. And I don't know what we got to do. I think you got to fire the guy. Everybody thinks he's he's not going to get fired over this.
Right.
But you didn't show up in last year's tournament.
Yeah.
You didn't show up in the SEC tournament this year. You got pummeled by Ole Miss. And then this tournament, you're embarrassed. The entire fan base is embarrassed. We have the two worst losses in the March Madness that's out there.
Interesting, yeah.
It's absurd.
It's absurd, yeah. Hot take right here, hot mic this morning from Billy D, bringing it right here in the first segment of the Morning Rant. You know what you remind me of? And for those of you that can see right now, take that hat off for just a second. Okay, folks, man, this guy right here, he knows what I'm about to say. He is a white version of Barkley, Charles Barkley. Yeah,
hey.
The name almost escaped me for a minute. But we've always joked around with Billy D that he kind of reminds you a little bit of a white Charles Barkley, and you got a lot of those like Charles Barkley tapes.
That's not funny.
That's just ridiculous, man. That was terrible, man. That's just terrible.
Real terrible.
We're gonna wave the terrible towel today, man. I'm telling you.
I need to start taking that weight loss shot that he's been popping in.
I was gonna say, man, Charles has slimmed down a little bit. He's slimmed down a little bit right here. So again, Billy D bringing it right here though. And no, I mean, here's the thing. I think that a lot of people, obviously, when you look at Georgia, they were basically very much anemic from making the tournament and making any kind of postseason noise over the last, decade or so. I think there's a lot of Georgia fans that, are happy that Georgia's been able to make the tournament. But to your point, when you drop a bomb, when you lay an egg the way you have over the last couple years, and it's not like you're a 13 against a 4, it's not like you're a team that barely made it in. I mean, you're an 8 seed. You're pretty legit. Like we saw a 9 seeded Iowa team beat Florida, number 1 seeded Florida over the weekend. Like you are expected, an 8 versus a 9 is expected to be a pretty even matchup on paper.
I mean, are we happy to just be there? Are we happy to just be there? I mean, what do you think? Do you think the guy should be fired over performance like that? Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the thing about it is, first of all, he's not going to get fired. So I think it's probably
he's not, point. But he should.
He's not. He's not going to get fired. I mean, Mike White did a lot of good things. Florida has come in and he's kind of get this program in the right direction. I would say that if the trend continues another year or two, maybe you got to look at it and you got to say, okay, we're not going to get over this hump. But I think they're not going to fire him over. They're going to fire him over not making the tournament more so than they are making the tournament. Now, what they do in the tournament could ultimately derail him if they are expecting. I think a lot of it depends on the expectations of the program and of the department.
So you've been blown out of 3 tournaments. And you're saying as long as we get blown out with 2 more, then we can fire.
Yeah, I was going to say if you get blown out of 2 more tournaments,
many get blown out?
You got to get blown out of at least 5 tournaments.
Oh man, there you go. There you go. Dave just told you.
Fired.
It takes 5.
You got to get. Well, I'm just thinking about it from the standpoint of like, okay, what are the people at UGA saying? Like if they're expecting UGA to be the creme de la creme of the SEC, then to your point, yeah, he may get one more shot at it, and that might be it. But I think you also have to temper those expectations. Look, let's be honest. This ain't Georgia football. This ain't Kirby Smart. This is not a Georgia team expected to a men's basketball team that's expected to be a year in and year out, blue blood, right?
Oh, okay, but effort. Can we have effort?
Well, yes.
I mean, I didn't see any effort. I mean, that's what I'm going. It's not like you played hard and you got blown out.
And you got blown out.
You didn't play hard. That's my problem.
Right.
I know we're not going to be, the top 3 or 4 in basketball year in, year out right now. It's all about Georgia football. Maybe there's not even that much of a concern for Georgia basketball. I don't know. But I know the rest of our sports do pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So basketball should be able to as well. And what I'm talking about is the effort. You had 3 tournaments in a row where there was an effort. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing that is alarming or concerning if you are, a Georgia basketball fan. It's like, where's the effort? And how can you not be fired up in a March Madness tournament, especially when you're a team that's not there every year, right? I mean, you would think that these guys would have showed up and been a little bit more prepared. So to your point, I could totally see it. And I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be fired or that there shouldn't be something there, but I definitely think that seat will be warming up for Mike Wyatt, especially if they lay another egg, whether it be, in next year's SEC tournament or NCAA tournament or what have you.
I've got the match.
You got the match. He's Billy D ready to light that match this morning under Mike White right here. Speaking of, we are the home of Georgia basketball, ironically, right here on the Sports Pig, again carrying the Bulldogs throughout the season. And but you're right, man, 100%. It was a very disappointing end of the season for all of our Georgia Bulldog basketball fans out there. But hey, we'll see what happens right here. Either way, March Madness in full bloom, just as the pollen and allergies are. But hopefully the azaleas will catch up as we get closer to the Masters and a lot of other events going on here in the spring. Speaking of, Friday night baseball at Truist Park, the Braves opening day as well. We're going to talk about that and some other things going on right here on the Morning Rant. We're up against our first break. We'll step aside, be right back. Again, the Morning Rant right here live on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
We are jamming out here on a Rally Towel Tuesday with you right here inside our Carriage Kia Studios. Dave Garner with you right here alongside my co-host for the day, Billy D. Billy down in the house here today. The white Charles Barkley bringing it right here at this first segment or two right here in the program, man. Always have a lot of fun with Bill. We were talking about the Hawks. Excuse me. And there it is. That's what I was waiting on right there. All those guys. Speaking of Chuck and Shaq and everybody. But again, and now they're over on part of the ESPN platform there. And, of course, Chuck breaks down some March Madness. It's so funny listening to Chuck break down March Madness, because he probably hadn't even watched the teams much. Or studied up on them, and maybe I'm wrong, but Chuck always has just such a unique take about everything, and he gets off on those tangents as we talk about, so it's a lot of fun. But speaking of your Atlanta Hawks, they did have their 12-game win streak broke, but they have bounced back with a couple of wins since then, and they won last night, 146-107 over the Grizzlies. The Hawks now currently sitting in the 6th seed, which gets them out of that play-in position if they can hang on to it over these final 10 games.
Yes, I'm telling you, they are a team to watch. I tried to catch the game last night, but I couldn't find anywhere on TV. But they did win. They won big. And I'm telling you, they've really come together. I've liked this coach since the day we brought him in. He's had to work through a bunch of stuff that just really didn't fit.
Right.
And now that they made these moves, I think you're starting to see the team respond to what he's been wanting to get done, and they're responding in a big way. Now, I don't.
Right.
I don't think they're going to make any kind of a big flashy run, but I think they're going to be exciting to watch, and they could pull some upsets out for sure.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a team capable of maybe making a run, at least winning a series. You know, and
exactly.
I think we're talking about in the last segment. We're talking about Georgia and their lack thereof of intensity, of effort, and the things that you pointed out about Georgia basketball, especially really in the last couple of tournaments. I think for the Hawks, to be able to see this team, they're an effort team. There's something about. Well, I say there's something. We all know what that dynamic is. I mean, Trae Young obviously being gone in some way, shape, or form, for better, for worse, has impacted this team. But it looks like it's for the better right now. But you're seeing effort, man. You're seeing guys. You're seeing Jalen Johnson. You're seeing Dyson Daniels.
Defense.
The defense, has definitely improved. Really, their game on both ends of the floor has improved. And when you look at it, you got to think, man, this team is young enough and talented enough that they could very well sneak up on somebody, at least in the first round of an NBA playoff game, because of the way they're playing. As long as they can keep this momentum going, I like the direction that they're headed in under Quinn. But Coach
For
Snyder.
sure.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, either way, I just selfishly, as an Atlanta sports fan, I just want to see these guys be relevant. I mean, really, I'm just looking for relevance at this point, because I feel like you've got a fan base in North Georgia, and especially up where we live, that really doesn't give a darn much about the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, honestly. So I want to see this team be relevant again. I personally love going to Hawks games. I love the atmosphere at State Farm. I mean, it is a great atmosphere. But again, there are a lot of fair weather fans. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to support them if they're winning. But I want to see this team be relevant. And I think, right now, certainly they're relevant. They're playing good, relevant basketball, but hopefully they can keep the foot on the gas.
They have shown any time that they've been winning that the fans show up. The fans show up and they get massive support when they're winning and doing a great job. So I don't have any doubt that seeing this turnaround is going to create any kind of a different trend. I mean, they are on it, and the fans will respond, and it is a happening place to be at. When hops are getting it done.
You got to love it. No doubt about it. Hey, on another note, our Atlanta Braves, again, opening day Friday night.
Let's go Braves.
At Truist. And a little bit of bad news. Yesterday we kind of knew some things were happening right here, but it does look like Spencer Strider is going to begin the season on the IL due to a strained oblique. So, again, we're going to talk about this later in the week with my man, Will Cooper, the Golden Boy, when he comes on. He's kind of our Braves insider, and we'll talk more about that. But, man, it's one of those things where this team, you almost have to feel like, and I don't use the word cursed, that's kind of a strong word. I use that very loosely in this sense, but you got to feel like if anybody's been cursed lately more than the Atlanta Falcons, it's been the Atlanta Braves with some of these injuries, especially their starting rotation. So, again, not exactly sure how long we're going to have to go without Spencer Strider in the opening day, rotation, or opening rotation, if you will, starting rotation. But, again, just another setback after you already kind of lost Schwellenbach early in spring training. You already lost, a couple of the guys early that aren't going to be with the team on opening day, this weekend in this first series. We're going to talk a lot about that over the next couple of weeks and as we get into the season. But, you hate it for the Braves, man. Just another setback.
Well, Strider's only out for, a couple weeks?
Yeah,
3 weeks,
hopefully.
maybe?
Hopefully.
Something like that.
I mean, those oblique strains, it's just one of those kind of lingering things like a hamstring. It's just like you never, just kind of have to play it by ear.
Oh, look, it's a long season, right? But haven't we had this issue for like the last 2 or 3 years?
Yes.
With pitchers?
Well, last year.
Why are we not stocking up on them?
Yeah.
I mean, should we should have an answer.
We
if
should
it
have an
continues to
answer.
happen to you, you do something about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, that's most of Atlanta sports, though, right?
I think Anthopoulos may be a little hamstrung. I mean, obviously, budget. Everybody has to live by a budget, right? You know how that works, and so it's I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. I know there are some other sports talk personalities around Atlanta that have talked about that, like, hey, man, we need to get some arms in here. We got to get some extra arms in here. And it just, for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to really be the case much. Now, I know we've tried to boost our bullpen a little bit. You got the young guy, Didier Fuentes, that'll be on the opening day roster. You've got a couple of other arms in there. I would hope so. I mean, you're going to need those guys because the one thing that you can't do this year that you did last year is get off to an 0-7 start. Yeah. And expect to make any kind of noise this year in the National League. I mean, you had such a terrible start to the season last year that you really got behind the 8 ball. You spent basically half the season trying to recover from, and by the time you actually got to a game over 500, the season was about over with, and then you fell behind that and you never recovered. So
we still got our ace, right?
Yeah, well, we got Chris Sale,
right.
But you're putting a lot of faith in a guy that's over 40. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics, I think, when you look at this Braves roster, top to bottom. I've said it all during spring. I hope we can put up some runs. I think that's the biggest thing that we really lacked last year.
Bring the bats back.
Yeah, bring the bats back. I mean, we need to have a campaign to bring the offense back, right? I mean, come on, you know. I mean, Justin Timberlake may be bringing sexy back, right? But the Atlanta Braves need to bring the offense back, all right, to Truist, because, again, it's been lacking. 2 years ago they came out of the gate like gangbusters and then kind of cooled off. Last year, had all the pitching injuries, but to compound that, even with some good spot pitching that we got from some different guys, we could never generate any offense, and so the one thing I've never really liked about the Braves, even back to the Bobby Cox days and Brian Snitker days, the Braves don't know how to play small ball, and I'm kind of a fan of small ball. Like, I like, you get a runner on, you bunt a guy over, you get him into scoring position, you manufacture runs, you steal bases. Last year, this team just didn't do that. I mean, they didn't move guys over. You got to get them on, you got to get them over, and then you got to get them in. You get some guys on, but you can never get them over, and you certainly couldn't ever get them in. And sometimes you've got to be able to manufacture runs, and you've got to be creative sometimes in how you do that. This is a team that over the last couple of years has relied on the long ball only. If they're not hitting ball over the fence, they're not scoring runs.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks do dig the long ball. You remember that old 90s commercial with Glavin, I think, and Maddox, I think it was.
I am not a fan of small ball, all right? I am not. I like the homers. I like the doubles. I like to see the runs piling up. You're right, though. You have to be able to manufacture.
Yeah.
But, man, I just want to see those bats light up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a much more – just a funner brand of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Watch.
Hey, everybody wants to see everybody tear the cover off the ball and hit home runs. I mean, I'm all for that. I'd love to go to the Braves game and see guys hit 5 or 6 home runs, of course you love that, but that's not always going to happen. I mean, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're going up against another team's ace, and you're going to be sludging it out in a 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning, and you gotta find a way to win a game. Sometimes you got to play small ball in order to make it happen. I think it's kind of like the 3-point shot in basketball. Everybody loves 3-point shooting teams that shoot lights out, but you live by the three, you die by the three. And it's the same thing with baseball. You live by the long ball, you die by it. If all you're relying on offensively is to hit home runs, I don't think ultimately you're going to be able to keep pace with where you need to be at. But I agree with you. I love that brand of baseball better, but I just think sometimes it's necessary to be able to have some versatility in your lineup.
It is. I just don't like saying it.
Yeah. You don't want to speak it into existence.
No.
Again, our Atlanta Braves, starting on Friday night. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the week. Hey, you and I were at Wing and Rock Fest on Saturday and Sunday. We were there both days. You were there, of course, with your business, and what did you think of all that? I mean, they averaged 20,000 people over the course of a weekend, and I wanted to bring you on here because one of the new segments we're going to be introducing during the week is restaurant inspection scores. Because, again, as we've said all along, this show it's 80% sports, but it's 10% food, and then like 10% music and entertainment, right? We're going to be promoting some concerts. In fact, I've got a list of concerts up on the wall right now that are highlighted that the Sports Pig is going to be the official radio station of. We're going to be partnering with our friends at Ameris Amphitheater in Alpharetta, and we're going to be giving away some concert tickets and doing some different things here over the next couple months. So, again, be listening for your chance to win tickets. But one of our first big events, if you will, happened this past weekend, the Wing and Rock Fest, the third largest chicken wing festival in the country.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was awesome, man. I loved it. There was you had a bunch of representation of wings and how to cook them and different ways to do it. You also had some outliers out there. You had a lot of barbecue type stuff. You had you even had a walk station.
Oh yeah,
they had the walks out there. It's very. I love the creativity of how they're cooking these things on site. And I even had some a lamb
kebab.
Skewer stick.
Yes, I saw. Man, that looked delicious. I didn't get one.
It was delicious. I got a couple of them, but
but
no, there was so much out there. There's a lot of different desserts out there. I did not partake of any of the dessert, even though I wanted to.
That was my next question.
But I did taste quite a few of the wings and the different things out there.
I tell you, the bands, I thought the entertainment was great. One thing we didn't talk about yesterday with Big John, because Big John was out there too on Saturday, and we talked about the tribute bands that played both days, and they were all really good. The days started both days with the School of Rock, which are basically high school bands, school-age bands that got to play. They were both cover bands. I think one day they had West Cobb was the School of Rock band, and then on Sunday was the Woodstock. So it was the Cherokee County area high schools.
Those were the high schools?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what so they opened up both days. It was School of Rock, which is a kind of a cool program encouraging music in schools. Okay. And so there's a lot of different kids that come together that form, bands and stuff and play, and they were all fantastic. I was joking around that one of the bands was playing Rage Against the Machine. It was one of the main songs. I'm drawing a blank off the top of my head, but anyway, and I was kind of joking around. It kind of sounded like the Kid Bop version, of some of these songs, and they were good. But it's because there's kids singing them, right? There's like this young little girl going, "They rally around the family with a pocket full of shells," and it's just kind of funny, But again. So there was a lot of fun things that happened over the weekend. But farmers market, a big kids area, a lot of different things. But man, I enjoyed it. I know it was a long weekend for a lot of the vendors just to kind of be out there and hang around, but it looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and now that I've been to a few of these, got to know some of the other vendors there. Yeah, we talk, and it's a really cool deal. They go all over the country, not just here in Atlanta,
right,
or here in Georgia. Like they go out of state, all these types of things. I got some great ideas on how to keep cool. I see these nice fans that they're able to put in there that they plug in. So no, it was a great time. The actual guy behind me gave me a sample in the morning on Sunday of his honey hot wings.
Oh man!
And he was out there. Good. He was out there in the Lex, he's shaking them up and everything. He goes, "Hey man, you want to try?" I said, "Yeah, give it to me." So I had some. He ended up winning. He was. Oh
wow! Okay.
He ended up winning the wing contest, but they were awesome. They were incredible. Had quite a few of those. And just a great time. Yeah, it was a great weekend, no doubt about it. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit more about March Madness coming up here, and again, some other things going on in the world of sports. Plus, we're going to dive into Fanatics flag football and a whole lot more right here on this Terrible Towel Rally Towel Tuesday edition of the Morning Rant. Again, we are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app, but online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Well, welcome back here. We're on the air till 11 o'clock. It's the Morning Rant. Dave Garner, Billy D with you on a Rally Towel Tuesday. Man, oh man, we are rocking and rolling right along right here. Appreciate you guys being with us till the top of the hour. Hey, a lot of different ways to listen to the show. Follow us on social media. That's where we want to connect with you guys at. Again, the Sports Pig on Facebook and Twitter. The Morning Rant is on Instagram and also on YouTube and some other various podcast platforms, Podbean, Spotify, some different ones. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll find us on there. The Morning Rant on the Sports Pig. We appreciate you guys being with us back here on a Geiger Legal Tuesday as well. Again, our friends at Geiger Legal with their bracket challenge, and we were talking about brackets a little bit earlier.
Yes, about the bracket challenge. I got we had a family bracket that we did.
Yeah.
And we included some other people in it.
There you go.
And with our brackets, I'm winning handily, by the way, because we had some people pick Georgia to go all the way. My wife, who loves KSU, picked KSU to go all the way.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a very difficult bracket to be number one in. But I'll tell you this, it's me and my son Will. Shout out to Will, who's probably listening. We are kind of the last of the Mohicans, if you will, kind of battling out for the end.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm over here coughing my allergies. I hate to put you on the spot there. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, here we go. There's another cough. Trying to digest all this pollen in right now. But no, we were talking about the brackets, and we'll talk a little bit more in just a second about some other things going on. But I want to switch gears for a moment and talk about this Fanatics NFL, or not NFL, but Fanatics flag football competition involving some NFL players. John and I touched on this yesterday. We were talking about, there was a guy last year that raised a lot of eyebrows and ruffled some feathers. His name was Daryl Doucette, the quarterback of Team USA. Okay, basically, which is the again, flag football is going to be an Olympic sport in the next Olympics.
Yep.
He is the quarterback of Team USA that is looking to get in. That is going to be the team to represent the United States. Well, since the announcement was made that flag football was going to be a sport, there's a lot of guys around the league, the NFL, that are like, well, hey, nobody's better than us. I mean, I want to be in this. Everybody wants to win a gold medal, right? So, NBA's already there. NHL's already there. Professional athletes now being able to compete in their sport in the Olympics. Well, flag football now being a sport gives the opportunity for some of these NFL guys potentially to play for Team USA in the Olympics. So Fanatics held a tournament over the weekend, and you had some celebrities and different people that weren't NFL players, but a lot of NFL players like Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts and the Cheetah and different folks that were in this tournament. Tom Brady threw.
Yep.
And they competed against Team USA. Daryl Doucette made a bold prediction or a bold statement last year and said, hey, I'm better than Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'm better than he is, as a quarterback. And everybody's like, dude, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? And I think he meant it, in terms of, when it comes to flag football. I will say this. I said it yesterday. I'll say it today. Flag football is a lot different than traditional football.
It's not the same game.
It's not the same game. The way it's played is much different. You don't have the trenches, but the plays, it's very much eccentric. It's a totally different style of football. And so what happened over the weekend was basically that Team USA won all of their games. The NFL guys, were unable to beat Team USA. I'm not saying that Mr. Darrell or anybody else on Team USA necessarily proved anybody wrong from an athletic standpoint. I know that John's take yesterday was, hey, they're all athletes, right? But what was your thought about the whole thing with the flag football and seeing the guys compete?
I think it was a lot about getting eyeballs to the sport is what I think this was all about.
Right.
It was all about promoting, getting more eyeballs around it. You have this knucklehead Logan Paul, which I cannot stand. The guy, love him, hate him, whatever. He is designed to bring eyeballs to whatever he's doing.
Right.
So he makes these outrageous statements, says
Attention
these outrageous
magnet,
things.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that I don't think he's serious about probably 80%.
Oh, yeah.
He might be 20%, 80% of what he says.
He's a promoter.
He's full of it.
Yeah.
He's full of it.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing because he's going to bring eyeballs to it. He's going to challenge others and make them say things that are stupid, get more eyeballs to it. That's what's all. I hate that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it works. It works, and it works very well.
That's why
he made a career out of it.
He's been successful now as a professional wrestler. He's a pro wrestler, not only physically, with the WWE. He also has that mentality of being a promoter.
Yeah,
and he is very athletic, and Jake too, of course, his brother. But there were a lot of different people. I mean, Kevin Hart, different people over there chopping up on the sideline, goofing off. But it does kind of, make you wonder what it's going to look like, when it actually happens. Are there going to be some NFL guys that are going to be able to be brought in to make the team and compete? Because you got to wonder how much the league's going to get behind this. I mean, the thing is these guys are going to be, heading into a training camp shortly after that, or what have you. And a lot of these teams are paying these guys a lot of money. They don't want to see them hurt. You know,
it's interesting because you kind of had this with the WBC, right?
Yeah.
The managers were calling in, hey, you can use this guy for so long.
Or whatever. Right, yeah. We only want him to pitch so many innings, yeah.
With football and flag football, obviously the contact's out of it, but that has nothing to do with coming in and out of cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Your knees
tearing
and all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So
ripping ACL.
I don't know how that's really going to play with football, with it being such a short season and not a whole lot of time. I would venture to say no. I think it'd be more reserved for maybe backup players or maybe players who are just recently out of the NFL.
Right.
Would make a lot of sense because, again, it is a different sport. It is not the same thing as a contact football sport.
Right.
You're talking flag, but there's different rules.
Yeah.
There's different movements. There's all kinds of different things that they are not necessarily trained for to go and do this.
Right.
So I think it's a great sport. I love watching. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but it's
definitely
just,
a lot of
it's
fun.
just not the same thing. So I don't know that that's really going to fly well.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. I mean, I think from a money standpoint, now you got to remember, as John reminds us, Roger Goodell maybe being behind this a little bit or whatever. If there's an opportunity to make a dime, then it may very well be embraced from a league standpoint. I'm just not sure that the owners, the owners of these teams or that the guys play for are necessarily going to be behind it. But at the end of the day, money talks. The NFL's a big machine, a money-making machine, and so we'll see how much they embrace it and all those sorts of things. But I think either way, very, very interesting dynamic there. But, a lot of good football. I mean, Tom Brady out there still throwing some darts and different things, avoiding some tackles.
He was still the GOAT.
He's still the GOAT, but, I mean, he's retired, right? I mean, he can get out there, but you got a guy like Joe Burrow that suffered some injuries and things, and he's out there, trying to put the hit stick on the defender with some spin moves, and it's like, oh, if I'm a Bengals fan, man, I'm just cringing at this, man, I don't want to see my guy out there right now,
It was funny when they showed the stats of the quarterbacks that played. Tom Brady still had the best stats of everybody there. Still being retired, still outdoing everyone.
Still, absolutely, man. A lot of stuff going on there. Again, the Fanatics flag football tournament taking place over the weekend.
Time to hang it in the Louvre.
Oh, this looks nice.
Our favorite moments from the week in sports here on the Morning Rant.
All right, so we were talking about March Madness, and there were a lot of great moments, of course, that came from the weekend. But you brought up one in particular that, man, no doubt about it, was definitely a highlight of the weekend.
Yeah, my favorite moment would be the Kentucky and Santa Clara matchup.
Yeah.
It was I'm not a fan of either team. I'm just a fan of March Madness.
Yep.
And it was everything that March Madness is supposed to be. The last 30 or so seconds of this game was insane. Santa Clara comes down. Yeah. He dribbles out. He goes to the three-point line, buries a three. There's 2.6 seconds left on the clock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Kentucky inbounds it, runs down the court real fast, shoots a shot right outside of the half-court line, right inside of it.
Right, yeah.
And drains it.
Banks
Jumps
it
up,
in,
drains
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a throw up. Like he jumped, aimed the whole thing, and I mean, I was going crazy. Like, oh, I mean,
I think everybody
we're watching it, just going nuts. But that's everything that March Madness is. And it was all summed up in that one. I think that was the best kind of ending to a game that I saw. There were some other ones, but that one was just special.
That was definitely a very special moment over the weekend there early. And, you got to think, man, I mean, there's always those upsets that happen, and it looked like there was definitely one there that was going to happen. Santa Clara hits the shot, I think with like 2.4. And then, Kentucky inbounds it. Everybody's going nuts thinking, this thing's about to be over with. And then they heave up a shot from nearly half court and banks it in, goes into overtime, and then, of course, Kentucky ended up winning it. I do love the St. John's at the buzzer over the weekend against Kansas. I think I mentioned yesterday was one of my favorite moments as well. But, yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the world of golf, tennis, a lot of things right here. We always try to bring different sports and different perspectives.
Roland Garros.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard, though, to ignore March Madness, though. Yes. It's just one of those things. So, again, hey, we appreciate you guys being with us right here on another Rally Towel Tuesday. Dave Garner in with you till 11 o'clock. Chuck Oliver coming up here at the top of the hour to chop it up with the latest in college football right here. We'll go ahead and take our final timeout and be right back. You're listening to the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant, weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Final segment of the show right here on a Rally Towel Tuesday. Thank you guys for being with us. Dave Garner with you till the top of the hour. Chuck Oliver coming up here in about 15 minutes to talk about the latest in the world of college football and beyond. Again, March Madness, a lot of March Madness talk right here. Chopping it up with Billy D this morning on a Tuesday as we talk a little bit of football there. The Atlanta Falcons getting set for the draft, as of course all the other teams in the league as well. But again, things have kind of calmed down a little bit now with the new league year officially cranking up in the NFL. I know the Falcons were able to acquire a safety, Sidney Brown, from the Eagles, and they swapped a couple of draft picks in there, but nothing really significant. I guess the biggest move lately, Azeez Ojulari, a guy that's kind of ate up with some injuries and things, was an Eagle at one time, most recently with the Giants, but a local guy, Marietta High School. He's coming to Atlanta. Again, the Falcons picking up Ojulari there. Hopefully some help across the defensive front. You got to think, obviously, with James Pierce Jr., with everything kind of being up in the air, presumably maybe not going to be in camp, and some different things. You're going to certainly have to find some other guys that can hopefully get to the quarterback. And who knows, Ojulari being kind of an outside linebacker, kind of a versatile guy when he's healthy, maybe another piece to add to that dynamic.
Yeah, I think we still got to we got to go DT in the draft. We got to get a defensive tackle. We got to shore up the line side over there. Wouldn't hurt us to go after some more linebackers as well. I know we've kind of addressed some wide receiver issue, but this draft is super deep with wide receivers. So
right.
and really, they're a dime a dozen. You get some really good route runners that can catch the ball, and you're going to be all right. You don't necessarily have to have a superstar, but we do need to have somebody opposite Drake London for sure. And I'm surprised we haven't done anything with Drake London yet because he has a contract. We're looking to do a contract extension, but there hasn't been any talk about it.
Yeah,
I would really not like to see us have to do Drake London and Bijan in the same year.
Yeah, that would be something you'd want to try to avoid there because that would eat up pretty much everything you have left there, as part of that $300 million budget or what have you. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they get a deal done. I definitely can't disagree with you, honestly. I think that we definitely, as Falcons fans, need somebody opposite Drake London that can at least, make the defense respect you. I don't think it necessarily has to be somebody that's necessarily a superstar because I think Drake is a potential superstar, but I think he definitely needs some help in that receiver room. I know they made some moves to bring in, Dotson and some of the other guys that have bounced around. Olamide Zaccheaus, of course, who was here previously in Atlanta, spent some time with Philly and some other teams, and, of course, came back now. So you do have some veteran guys in the locker room to try to boost that position, but I still feel like you do need a kind of a bona fide number two guy there. So can't disagree with you there by any means.
I would love to see us get Branch if he's available.
Oh, well, that would be, Zacchaeus Zachariah Branch from UGA. I'd be all over that one. There's a lot of people trying to predict, and they're saying, to your point about DT and tying in Georgia, I know you got your the Morning Rant Sports Pig hat on. You got the Georgia colors on it as well. Christian Miller from Georgia, defensive tackle that played out. True story about Christian Miller. I actually met him when my stepson was a freshman at UGA. Everybody went over the week that school was starting. They all went over to Target in Athens. Everybody was over there. We were over at Target getting some last minute things for his room and all this stuff. And I actually met Christian Miller in the parking lot. Big guy, big guy, but I could tell he was young. He had braces and everything. And I just looked at him. I said, D tackle? He said, yes, sir. And he was kind of shy, and his mom came out in the parking lot. She's like, that man asked you a question now. You better talk to him. She was very much like, hey, you make sure, so a respectful young man.
Brought up right.
For sure. Yeah, brought up right, but a big kid. And so it's funny, he came in as a freshman the same time my stepson did. And my stepson, Seth, just graduated back in December from UGA, and now Christian Miller, of course. So they were kind of on that same path. And so, again, but that always stuck with me. A good young man. But, yeah, I think he would definitely be a great stopgap kind of guy, maybe in the middle of a defense for anybody. But yeah, selfishly, I would love. He is kind of a projected middle second rounder. Could potentially be there for the Falcons when they pick.
Well, they say that Georgia players are the most ready for NFL right now. When you talk to the different scouts and the GMs out there, the Georgia players have traditionally been the most ready to go.
Right.
It's just the way they're coached up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what the Falcons do. I know they spent some time over at UGA recently. Some of the staff went over there, met with Kirby, so maybe they're finally starting to listen to some of those fans out there. A lot of these fans out here, though, they're like, they just need to draft all Georgia players. Let's not get carried away here now. A lot of the other fan bases are like, yeah, right. But we see what happens in Philly.
It's worked out around the league.
I was going to say, it's kind of worked out around the league. Philadelphia, and now the Raiders are trying to do the same thing. They've got 3 or 4 Georgia guys they brought over, N'Kobe Dean and some other guys that they brought in as well. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the Falcons are trying to work on that model just a little bit.
From the buzzer beaters to the big hits. If it's making noise in the world of sports, we've got something to say about it. This is
Now That's What I'm Talking About.
That's what I'm talking about.
your all-access pass to the hottest takes in the world of sports.
All right, so we were talking about March Madness, of course, going on right now. And anytime March Madness is going on, it's always usually the biggest thing going on in the world of sports, or at least one of those things that people do indeed like to, of course, talk about. Because, hey, man, every office in America, we talked about it being the least productive work days, right, in America whenever March Madness starts, especially those first couple rounds, because that's when the Cinderellas slip on the slipper, right? I mean, that's when all the action happens there. But now that we're past that, I wanted to spend the final few minutes we have here talking a little bit about the bracket moving forward. Sweet 16 again set. Man, what you got, man? What's it looking like over there for you?
All right, so I'm pulling up the official bracket, what we have here, and I'm seeing here in the East, we have Duke going against St. John's.
Yep.
And you heard me last week talk about I didn't think Duke was going to make it to the end, like Final Four stage, right? Yeah. I think this is where Duke gets taken out. I think St. John's rolls on them. However, I will say Duke looked pretty good against
They
TCU.
did look pretty good. Yeah, they really
good.
did.
But I am sticking to my guns. I'm going with St. John's, and I'm going with my boy out there to get that taken care of. Then we have Michigan State and UConn. And UConn, I told you, was going to be dangerous, was going to come in here and make some noise. And it's a great matchup, them and Michigan State.
Yep.
I picked Michigan State to actually take them out in my bracket. I think I need to go back and look and make sure. But I think that's who I picked, and I think UConn probably gets taken out here. When you take it on down, you got Houston and Illinois. Houston, I think, is going to take care of them. Iowa and Nebraska. This is where you can't really call them a Cinderella when they're number 4, right?
Right.
But Nebraska's never really won.
They're not a blue
so,
blood for basketball, no.
But they've made a great run into here, taking out Vandy on 74-72 close game. Iowa taking out the big boys in Florida.
Yep.
So that should be a really interesting matchup there. And since I got all that wrong, I don't know that I can really make a good prediction there. I'll take Iowa though over it. I'm just not a believer in Nebraska.
Right.
But, hey, they've proven me wrong 2 rounds already.
Yeah.
You go to the other side, and we have Zona. I think this is an easier – you got Zona and Arkansas. That's probably the best game on that part of the bracket.
I love that matchup, yep.
It's a great matchup. Arkansas has been playing really well.
Yeah.
And but I've got Zona. I've got Zona taking them out. Texas is over. It's done. Put a fork in them. It's over.
I agree. They got me to the Sweet 16, which I predicted, but I think it ends here.
Purdue's taking them out. Michigan and Alabama.
That's intriguing. I mean,
it's intriguing. I can't stand Bama, so I take them out just out of heart. Just 'cause I don't like them in
I don't
the
think a
first
lot of
place.
people thought that Bama would get there with some of the injuries, some of the different things too, and discipline, this, that, and the other. But yeah,
I didn't. But I've got Michigan going to the going to be in the finals, so I have to take them.
You got to take them. Yep.
Well, I was them. I need to go back to my picks. Sorry, I'm looking at the official bracket, not actually my picks. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I changed my mind as I watched the tournament.
I know. I've had to do that a couple times myself. Yeah.
So then you got Iowa State and Tennessee, and I'm gonna go Iowa State. Tennessee. I know you think I'd be picking the SEC, so I'm an SEC guy, but I just don't like them here. I think they're done.
I think the general consensus among the morning rant crew is that the SEC would be done after the Sweet 16. I mean, that's pretty much where it kind of all ends. Now, hope we're wrong because, I mean, I'm an SEC fan. Number 1, Florida, of course, getting taken out. I thought I had St. John's beating Duke, but I've actually got on my bracket right here, I've got Duke beating St. John's. I've got Houston going on to the Final 8. And then I've got Arizona over Purdue. I really like Purdue. If I see any what would be a mild upset, really, in my opinion, happening in this next round, it would be Purdue over Arizona. I think a lot of people have Arizona locked in as a national champ, which is all the more reason why I could see Purdue winning that game, playing the percentages. But I did go ahead and pick Arizona over Purdue, and I do have Michigan. So I've got Duke, Houston, Arizona, and Michigan basically as my final 4. And then I've got Houston and Michigan playing in the Natty, with Houston winning. I'm going with the Cougars. I may be way off here, but that's kind of what my bracket's looking like here, kind of wrapping up. So
yeah, and I did pull up my bracket, and what I said is true. That is who I picked. So
okay,
so we're good to go.
You're good to go, man. I love it. Yeah, March Madness again happening. This is one of my favorite times of the year, and I think it is for a lot of people, just simply because you're trying to pick the upsets, you're trying to do the different things as we've talked about. ESPN, if you're playing the ESPN format, which, as I said, we're the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. You get different points for the different levels, and if you pick the national champ, they give you like a gazillion points, and you pretty much win it anyway. But if you're playing a straight pick'em, I think it's even more fun, really, to do that. But the ESPN format's a lot of fun. That's what our friends at Geiger Legal Group, by the way, we touched on it earlier before I had my coughing fit. But Geiger Legal is doing their bracket challenge, and I think they ended up, I want to say there's about 450 people that ended up signing up. It's a free bracket, $1,000 if you win it, $10,000 to a charity in your name. So, again, we appreciate all of our friends at Geiger Legal. This is a Geiger Legal Group Tuesday, a Rally Towel Tuesday presented by our friends at Geiger Legal. Again, North Georgia's number 1 personal injury attorney at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG. But, yeah, a great thing they're doing, Casey and his team, putting this bracket challenge together to try to give back into the community. And right now, I went ahead and deleted. Oh, no, I'm still in here. Let me see where I'm at right now. Out of about 450 people, they're showing me in 29th place right now. So I'm in the top 30 of that bracket.
That's not bad.
And I'm leading our little friend group bracket with our buddy Art, of course, Will. There was 5 or 6 other people in there. Currently tied for first right now in that one. So hopefully I can keep my foot. I've won it 2 years in a row. I brag and I boast of those guys because I like to give it to them because they'd be doing it to me. So, again, I take my shot while I can. I don't know. I still feel like my luck's going to run out this year. We have vastly different picks.
You get a ring or something?
No, we need one, though. We really do need a ring or
T-shirt?
something. Yeah, a T-shirt or something. So, again, we'll have to figure it out. I haven't gotten anything the last 2 years. If they give it to somebody this year and it's not me, then I'm going to be really mad. Like, hey, why didn't I get this the last 2 years? But anyway, wrapping up right here on the program. Again, sporting our gear today. Again, Billy D's got the morning rant hat on. Again, there was the hat bar in Canton, by the way, was the one that they were at the Wing and Rock Fest. They were set up right across from our booth, and the guy went ahead and did a couple mocks for us. And yeah, man, we really liked him. It was awesome. So we're sporting our gear here today. Wearing my Berry College Viking. I had the opportunity to work on their radio crew several years ago, and so I'm rocking the blue here in honor of my friends, Coach Tony Konchesky, head football coach over at Berry College, and the Viking supporters there. They got a big following for a D3 school, man. They travel well. I mean, hey, definitely want to honor those guys here as we talk college basketball and football. That's going to wrap things up for this edition of the show. Thanks for being with us once again right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com. My man Billy D bringing it again right here on a Rally Towel Tuesday. Thanks for being with us, partner.
You got it. Enjoyed it.
There we go. As always, appreciate you guys being with us. We end off every hour of this show every day by asking, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening right here on the Morning Rant.